Here we go. So, yeah, there is the spoiler in the top left, but we're going to use it for the economy tab and whatnot, and the army tab and whatnot. So, yeah.
Alright, so here we are. This is right at the beginning of the game. So Jonasmod is going bot factory, air factory, bot factory. What he's trying to do with this is get early scouting via the air. But Kisel went double bot factory and immediately scouts him off the bat. Like, this is incredible how early he scouts. It's his first dox he sends out, hits directly into Jonasmod's base.
Yeah, he lucked out big time there. He does manage to keep the docks alive as well, which is even better, so we can use that for later harassment or, of course, later scouting. Any scouting, whether it's early, mid, or late game, is always so crucial. In fact, there's the Firefly going out from Jonasmod now, so unfortunately, however, it's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, like, Jonasmod sent out a fighter really early in the game, but
it manages
his
to
first
see
fighter...
one mix. One mix.
His first fighter never even sees anything of Kisel's. It only gets on the back of the planet and sees nothing.
Well, he
not a
scouted
single
one
dog.
mix. He scouted one mix.
That was his second fighter. It's his
Oh,
second
no, oh,
fighter
right. Sorry,
in the
I
game.
thought you were talking about
Only
just
got
the
to the
fighter.
smacks. So by the time the second fighter gets there, Kisel's already started to develop.
Yeah, it's his
And-
third fighter that just got there now at 3 minutes 25, and he sees, oh dear, that's 3 bot factories and an air factory and a forward base there with a radar. That's not good, because there's a lot of docks out there as well.
Yeah, what the problem is here for Jonasmod is he's in the lead in economy by 1 metal extractor now. But the problem is, Kisel is guarding his Faber more. Like, it's his life force is how much he's guarding that Faber. He's guarding it with fighters and bots right now. And to top it off, Kisel is always scouting around Jonasmod's base just to find his Fabers. And he finds them unprotected, and so he sends in groups of docks just to go kill the Fabers.
Yeah, that's the really key bit. Is just taking out the expansion. You don't even need to cripple the person's base early game, simply because you don't have the ability to, especially if you've gone docks first. You just won't have the attack power to actually do any damage to factories or any particular infrastructure within the base, especially since the commander is there and the units going off the factories as well. But taking out the expansions while expanding yourself is probably one of the best things you can do early game.
Like, right at this point, Jonasmod knows where Kisel's base was, yet he sent a Faber directly into his docks because he was trying to expand right on the metal in the North Pole. Yet there was docks there. He sacrificed a Faber, which he probably was thinking, oh, this is gonna save me metal-wise, right into Kisel. Right in the middle of the game.
Yeah, I think that
Which
might
put
have been
him
a
back
misclick.
even further.
I mean, the
But
thing is,
it had build queues there for a good 2 minutes, and it still went there, which
Yeah.
I don't understand.
well, perhaps he might have been too preoccupied with what Kiesel's doing, because Kiesel at this point in the game, especially, and even back then, had units on sort of all different directions. And if we look from Jonasmod, he does have the radar there, and he just sees pings everywhere, and he's got the aircraft as well, just scouting, and everywhere they go, all they're seeing is docks. But the thing is, if you know where your opponent's spawn is, and if you know they're building docks, the last thing you want to do is send Fabers anywhere near them, because docks have such high mobility, and also their vision range as well. I remember when it used to be the size of a penny farthing, and, you know, now it's ridiculously big.
Yeah, so what's happening here is Kisel's just putting rally points in between him and Jonasmod for zoning control.
Yeah.
He now controls the middle ground in between them, the center of the map. And all of his raiding controls behind Jonasmod, so he has limited Jonasmod to a horizontal front, which makes it so Jonasmod can't really do anything without letting his opponent know. If he moves forward, he
Yeah.
goes into vision range. If he goes backward, he goes into vision range. So the only thing he can do is he has to pick bad fights. He has to pick fights which in Kisel already knows he has to pick. So
Yes.
Kisel then can go in any of his other directions and pick off a single metal extractor, just whittling him down 7 by 7 on metal income until Kisel can finally just go in and destroy him.
Yeah, it was a really well constructed Hindenburg line of vision there, really well blockaded. Although there was the other side of the planet that Jonas could have gone round, and but which was completely sort of unharassed there by Kisel, who at this point in the game he's having to draw all of his units back away from where he had constructed everything because there's this really small group of units, tanks and docks combined moving in, but there is that little bit of defense there which manages to completely swallow that attack whole.
The problem with Jonasmod's attacks is he keeps on sending no spinners in with anything.
No, the problem with the attacks is they're far too late.
He keeps on sacrificing, but light amount of that much metal, though. He's sacrificing what he could have invested in something else because he sacrifices that much metal for free. It would have been better built in economy or something.
There's no point in sacrificing, especially at 7-8 minutes into the game, because look at the unit counts now. 88 to 160. Sacrificing isn't going to do a scratch to that sort of build power. All it's going to do is lose your units while the other player is likely building them faster. Although actually it just so happens the factories are 10 apiece, but Kisel has more fab, so he'll be expanding quicker. And having a quick look at what his command is doing, he's building up more factories.
Kisel's also always running at 100% with this build, because docks have really low roll-off time, which means it fluctuates really quick, but it never get really long hard economy downturns, which make it so it goes stalling. Unlike Jonasmod going vehicles, it has more stall potential, and you see times where he's down to 59%. And that's what slows his production down way worse, is he cannot take that 59%. Not when his opponent is trying to overwhelm him. He cannot let his economy tank like that. He needs to stop building factories when he can't support them.
Yeah, and what he also needs to do is raid some expansions. Look at that metal count, 155 to 71. 155, and on the other side of the planet there's just those 3 expanding fabbers and no defense to any of those mechs.
Jonasmod at this time in the back line does do a little raiding, but by then the air control is so far in Kisel's favor that he just goes and defends with his air.
And then he goes for an orbital launcher. What? Madness. 40% efficiency, orbital launcher, when you've got units surrounding you, docks surrounding you. I mean, I'm surprised at this point that Kisel hasn't just transitioned to boombots and said, you know what, have some boombots.
At this time, though, Kisel is fully transitioned to vehicles. He is now 5 vehicle factories in. He's done with his bot phase. His bots are for early game control, and that's what he got. He got his double metal income lead off bots. His tanks have not really been doing any pushing at all this game, but now he has more tanks than his opponent. He has more everything than his opponent. His opponent right now, he knows that his opponent is sending his whole entire army to try to squash a group of docks outside his base. So therefore, he can throw everything down Jonasmod's front lines, because Jonasmod has moved everything away.
Yeah, I mean, Jonas doesn't really have much anyway. I mean, he's moved his grunts of units into the wrong direction anyway, but at this point, he's got a couple of idle air fabricators. Going to air fabricators when you know the air superiority is in the opponent's camp isn't the best thing to do anyway. And you know, going to orbital, I don't even know what that was for. But at this point in the game, he must see, you know, he knows he's out. He's losing economy left, right, and centre, efficiency down the pan, units in his base. His commander's on the wrong side, so he can't even uber cannon efficiently to defend. His units are all on the wrong side. They're not moving in. They're slow unit movers anyway, so he's going to lose all of his base, and he GG's.
Yeah. Before the air snipe and the rest of the attacks come in. So that's our second take, folks.
Hopefully
a lot
not
better than the first time. So, that was the final. We did not cast the semifinal because me and Marshall wanted to try dual casting for the final. Sorry for technical issues. We hoped you liked the second try. But yeah, really well played on Kisel's part. And I mean, good try by Jonas, and really, really good that he got where he got. Like, he made it all the way to the finals. He made it through. He tied the other 3 to get to the elimination finals in the Swiss part. They all went 5-1, only losing 1 game out of 6 games. And then he ends up winning a 6th game, so he's 6-1, and then he goes 6-2.
Yeah.
That was an amazing, amazing play by Jonasmod. Like, he did amazing this tournament, and just flawless done by Kisel. He's won yet another tournament, Cloak and Danger, and now the Super Swiss.
Now does have a vanguard, so more scouting is needed from Orb, but that's quite a few bombers there. This, I reckon, Orb is going to turn this around. I really do, because he's had the superior economy for the majority of the game. He can definitely take out the Vanguard and the Shellers there without any trouble at all, and he's going to just go in and hamper the economy entirely. He does see the commander down there, he does see the 2 advanced vehicle factories, and Kai now desperately responding to this with an air factory of his own. He realises, oh, that's a lot of bombers. And Kai calling the GG as well. Bomber snipe coming in on that commander. There's not a lot he can do about this. Really well played from Orb there, actually. I thought he was on the brink of a loss there for the time being, but that was really well fought back.